Well, with me today from United is Carl Randazzo, and he also chairs the United M&C meeting that they had just recently.
Yeah.
And today you're going to give us a
rundown.
recap on it.
Yeah, we had a rather eclectic meeting. We discussed a whole plethora of things, okay? And I'm just going to put up some of the highlighted issues.
Sure.
The meeting occurred this Wednesday, October 23rd. Last week when I was on Channel 6, we talked about the fact that there's a schedule of all the meetings. So if you want to know what's going on, it starts at the committee level. So please come to the committee meetings, and then you'll have a better insight as to what's going on within United. We had a good meeting. At the meeting, we approved the consent calendar, which includes the project log. And as I've mentioned here before, the project log addresses all the outstanding projects that are being worked in the community. And it's this 11 by 17 sheet of paper, and there's approximately 16 items on this log. These are major projects. And some of these include painting, and prior to paint, the installation of new fencing to replace the old fencing, replacing of electrical panels in some manners, and epoxy waistline remediation, among others. And as I noted, the list does go on. We went over that log. Then at the meeting, we also touched on parking space striping in the cul-de-sacs. One of our residents asked that we add lines in their cul-de-sac to mark the parallel parking spaces so that we limit the area where people can park and thereby allow more additional parking. This is a great idea. However, if people would comply with these lines, it would be an even better idea. However, they will not, and we have some flyover indications in one cul-de-sac where we did it and nobody was complying with it. It's a cost associated with it. So we'll look at it again, okay, and possibly consider it for the 2022 budget, but there was nothing in our budget for this year or for next year that would address this. And at this particular point in time, we don't feel that it's something that we should be doing because nobody complies with it. We also discussed the building and cul-de-sac sign installation program. It is started and will continue in 2020. The buildings will receive large signs during the painting program, and the cul-de-sacs will start receiving signs starting in 2020. And on the side of a building, there'll be this huge sign that specifically has the number of the building, and it's huge. And if you look at thirds, you'll see what they'll look like. These signs will basically be rolled out for United. Will start in Gate 5 area first, since it's adjacent to thirds in Gate 5. And then not all signage would be installed in a year. It will be rolled out based on budgets and manpower over multiple years. And that's the present plan right now, unless we change that. But right now, that's our plan. It's not a priority, but it does have a priority. It's not a high priority, but it is a priority. We also voted on a new charter for the United M&C Committee. We recently noted that the M&C charter is really out of date since it described an M&C committee that also had at one time oversight of architectural issues. Architectural reviews are now done by a separate architectural committee, and thus the M&C charter needed to be changed to remove the architectural reviews. There are also some other editorial changes that needed to be made. At the meeting, we accepted the new version and will now pass on to the board for approval. As everybody knows, the committee doesn't approve anything. We just make recommendations to the board, and that's where the whole approval will be done with all 11 people present on the board. At the meeting, we also addressed the request to change the elevation height of sections of the fence behind Aldi's. That is, certain sections of the fence behind Aldi's are at 6 feet, and other sections are at 7 feet. And they wanted to make them all the same height. And it basically becomes an aesthetic issue and not something that's a deterrent issue, because the committee felt that the cost associated with changing the height by 1 foot was not warranted, because 1 foot will not make a difference in the deterrence aspect of the fencing. Fencing that is around our perimeter is a deterrent, and not meant to prevent anyone that wants to hop the fence to hop the fence. As noted in the dictionary, a deterrent is a thing that discourages or is intended to discourage someone from doing something. It is not a prevention tool. The 6-foot fence is still a deterrent, so as a result of that, we voted against increasing the elevation at certain locations behind Aldi from 6 to 7 feet. As a part of our discussion about fencing, we also broached the topic of fencing that is currently being installed on El Toro Road and the fact that the contractor has had to cut back on the bushes that have blocked the visual street traffic from the residents living in that area. A lot of those bushes are basically up against the wall, and in order to put in new fencing that tops that wall, which is New Shepherd's Crook, they couldn't access it, so they had to cut back on the bushes, and a lot of people were unhappy with that, and I understand why. Because we understand that the street traffic noise is an annoyance, and if anyone understands this, it's me, since I live along Laguna Hills Drive, and my area is very noisy as well. However, we have to understand that bushes do not reduce the noise. However, it is the impression of noise reduction that is important to your mind's eye, and we understand that. In view of the fact that El Toro Road is in and of itself a deterrence to people hopping the fence, just by location of it being on this busy thoroughfare, okay, people are just not going to hop the fence. And the barbed wire on top of that wall is still in good condition. Perhaps we need to reassess where we need to prioritize the location for installing the new Shepherd's Crook fencing. The original plan was to end at a certain location 1 year, and then next year 1,475 feet would start at that location and continue on until we reach the complete perimeter of 21,000 feet. But maybe we need to change that thinking a little bit to prioritize the locations for installing the new Shepherd's Crook fencing. So what we need to do is we need to take a look at it and prioritize those areas that are hidden, like behind Aldi's and various other areas first. And then, and as long as the barbed wire in those locations that we're not going to do are still in good shape, then we will basically just go to those areas where it's not in good shape or where it is hidden so that people can just hop the fence and never be seen, okay?
Right.
But I will be bringing this issue to the board to see if we can reprioritize some of our locations. And the area around El Toro right now is, along El Toro, is being put on hold for the moment. And then we also discussed walkway lighting, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate mail on this one. According to the protocols and procedures in United, the walkway lighting is not intended to eliminate the entire walkway. Let me repeat myself. According to the protocols and procedures in United, the walkway lighting is not intended to illuminate the entire walkway. Its function is to indicate a change in direction or elevation within a walkway. Based on this, it is not in our plan to illuminate every walkway with lights. If a nighttime walk is necessary to get to your vehicle, then there should be sufficient illumination to get you from your door to the carport area. If you want to take a walk at night in areas that are currently not illuminated, then a flashlight will probably be necessary. However, if there is a situation where you feel that a light is needed based on the basis that I just described, then obtain the form and make your request or contact resident services. And I'm sure a lot of people are not happy with that, but at this particular point in time, the cost to illuminate light walkways would just be intense. And some of the people would complain about the fact that it's shining in their bedroom, okay, and they can't, they can't sleep, okay, so you're never going to win. So basically, that's what we did there were a number of other things, but for the most part, that was the synopsis of what we did at the M&C meeting this past Wednesday.
All right, very good. I appreciate you coming on.
Well, thank you.
I know that's
Appreciate
a huge task of everything that goes on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and it's quite a moving target, isn't it? Quite.
A lot of moving targets, yes, exactly.
Carl,
it's like herding cats.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good to see you.
Thank
We'll
you.
be right back.